A request I stumble upon often online since Better Call Saul ended is what can I watch now? There is a huge number of shows out there, and unfortunately, not many that get even close to the quality of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. But there are some excellent ones you should definitely check out. Here are 10 shows you will probably like if you're a fan of the Breaking Bad universe. Number 10. House of Cards. When we think about the descent into darkness of Jimmy and Kim in the last few seasons of Better Call Saul, it's impossible not to make a comparison with Frank and Claire Underwood, a couple that has embodied for years the corruption of the American ruling class. If you are one of the few who haven't seen House of Cards when it was released, you should definitely check it out. Just do yourself a favor and don't watch the final season. Number 9. Justified. Justified is a fantastic TV show starring Timothy Olyphant as U.S. Marshal Raylan Givens, a modern-day cowboy who deals with a series of colorful criminals in a rural area of Kentucky. This show is a great portrait of a side of the US that is not shown very often on mainstream media. It has action and deals with serious themes, but manages to keep some great levity throughout, mostly thanks to the charm and laid-back attitude of the main character. Basically, imagine Lalo Salamanca as a US Marshal, and you're halfway there. First honorable mention, Ozark. Probably the most recommended show when it comes to alternatives to Breaking Bad. It is indeed a solid and fascinating one. Then why didn't it make the top 10 list? Well, because it is an extremely derivative show. The story of the Bird family is a mix of House of Cards, Justified, and Breaking Bad, with Marty being the guy who launders the money for a Mexican cartel, and his wife Wendy, the woman that builds a political career on that illegal business. It's worth mentioning that the show includes two of the greatest female characters ever, Wendy Bird and Ruth Langmore. If you want to get an idea of who Rhea Seehorn is running against in this award season, you have to check this one out. Number 8. Banshee. Banshee is the greatest show that you've never seen. It's a brilliant, over-the-top experimental TV show starring Anthony Starr. Yeah, Homelander from The Boys. I'm pretty sure that everything that happens in this show I can't really talk about on YouTube, so I suggest you just watch the first episode. I guarantee you will hardly let go after that. It's not higher in the list, only because unfortunately it was cancelled early, so the last season is not exactly the perfect conclusion we hoped for, but it's definitely a pretty good one. Number 7. Ray Donovan. Ray Donovan had probably the most mind-blowing cast in a TV show ever, including movie legends like Jon Voight, James Woods, Elliot Gould, and Susan Sarandon. The titular character, played by Liev Schreiber, is a fixer, basically a Mike Ehrmantraut for a big law firm in LA, who cleans up the messes of high-profile clients. Ray and his family moved to LA from Boston, leaving behind a violent and traumatic past. But unfortunately the past is about to knock on their door when Mickey, Ray's dad, gets out after 20 years of prison for a crime he didn't commit, and Ray framed him for. This show dares to deal with some really heavy subjects, but manages to do it in an extremely smart way, balancing the dramatic moment with some great comedy and action. The show got cancelled abruptly, but they managed to give it a conclusion with a movie. Definitely not perfect, but at least it wrapped up the story. Don't miss this one. Also because Ray Donovan was the last bastion of masculinity left in Hollywood's productions. Number 6. The Wire. This is a classic, widely recognized as one of the best shows of all time. If you like well-written and crafted crime shows, you can't miss this one. Also, this show, like the Breaking Bad universe, deals with a lot of major issues in American society. The Wire follows the lives of different characters working for the police and institutions of the city of Baltimore. Each season of the show revolves around an important issue, and if you put them all together, you get an incredible picture of the city and the struggles of its citizens. If you missed this one, definitely check it out. Number 5. Power. This is a big one. Power is the first show in its own universe. It spawned 3 spin-offs, and is still going strong. The original show told the story of James St. Patrick, alias Ghost, a New York dealer who managed to make his way to the top, and is now trying to clean up his image running a club in Manhattan. But as it always happens, living the game is not so easy. To complicate things even more, one night he meets his first love and gets involved with her again, without knowing that she now works for the DA office. Power is definitely one of the best crime shows out there, with a huge gallery of memorable characters. Sometimes it indulges a bit in the soap opera when it comes to love stories, but other than that, it's an extremely satisfying show. 2 out of 3 of the spin-offs are great too, the other one you kind of watch just for the lore. Number 4. The Americans. This is one of the closest in terms of quality. It's a story of a typical American family, parents and 2 kids in the 80s. Just a small detail though, the parents are actually Russian spies operating on US soil. This show has some of the best writing ever, supported by a great cast and some extremely solid visual. Costumes, makeup, production design, everything in this show feels authentic. But most of all, the characters are some of the most human you will ever find. Number 3. Goliath. Goliath is a hidden gem in your Amazon Prime subscription. One of the best shows of the last decade, starring Billy Bob Thornton as the attorney Billy McBride. Billy McBride, Jimmy McGill, Ellie McBeal. Am I the only one seeing a pattern there? Anyway, Billy McBride is a genius attorney who used to be partner of an important law firm, but is now an alcoholic, spending his days drinking and wandering around the beach in LA. He will be dragged back into the law business and become the man who fights on the side of the little man against the titular Goliath. Each season focuses on a different case, inspired by real issues of modern-day America. From the military-industrial complex to Big Pharma, no one is safe when Billy McBride is on the case. Obviously, Billy Bob Thornton adds his proverbial charm to the character, and is supported by a great cast which included some huge names like William Hurt, Dennis Quaid, J.K. Simmons, Bruce Dern, and Haley Joel Osment. The last season was released last year, so you can binge watch the whole series now. If there ever was a lawyer that could potentially win a trial against Saul Goodman, that would definitely be Billy McBride. Number 2. Fargo. The Fargo TV show has been a genuine work of art. The first 3 seasons managed to capture perfectly the style and spirit of the Coen brothers movies, telling each one a self-contained story, connected with the others, but enjoyable even for the casual viewer. Unfortunately, times have changed, and Disney decided to ruin this one too. Season 4 is an absolute abomination, and I suggest you pretend it never existed. But definitely watch the first 3 if you haven't. You will hardly get closer to the Breaking Bad universe than this. There is even Bob Odenkirk in Season 1 and Jesse Plemons in Season 2. Second honorable mention, The Shield. The Shield is another classic show that paved the way for many that followed. If I had to imagine Mike's days as a dirty cop, I would probably think about something close to this. The story of a team of cops working on the front line in one of the most dangerous areas of LA is also the story of the thin line that separates right and wrong in extreme situations. It is in many ways a show that reflects on good and bad choices, just like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. It didn't make it in the top 10 just because I had to give number 1 to its younger sibling. Number 1. Sons of Anarchy. Sons of Anarchy was created by Carl Sutter, who was one of the showrunners of The Shield. With this show, he had complete creative freedom, and he went all in. Sons of Anarchy is basically a Shakespearean tragedy set in the criminal world. The titular motorcycle club is actually a gang that deals in illegal weapons in North California and faces all sorts of internal and external conflicts. The writing is special, the characters are epic, and the overall style of the show is absolutely brutal. Carl Sutter doesn't shy away from the most unpleasant and violent sides of the criminal life and gives the audience everything raw. So this is definitely not a show for everyone. But if you're one of those who can appreciate it, it's one that will stay with you long after you're done with it. And you? What do you think about these shows? Is there any other show you would recommend to the orphans of Breaking Bad? Leave a comment below. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.